You know what would be pretty funny and fucked up at the same time? As if I reviewed Alien vs. Predator Requiem, except my whole review, the whole room was so dark as shit you couldn't see my face, or couldn't see my background. Yeah, that's pretty much how badly lit this movie is. Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this movie review is going to be for the second crossover of the Alien Predator franchise, and by release, the somewhat sixth Aliens movie, that was to be released, and it was also the fourth Predator movie to be released, not part of the franchise anyways, because these movies are separate from both franchises. And that is, of course, AVPR, Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem. Or, as I call Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem. Well, you're going to get to why, but the first one was just called Alien vs. Predator. This one, kind of like how the sequel to Alien was called Aliens, is called Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem. Now, and Predator's just by himself. RIP. Poor Predator deserves to have the S at the end of this title, too. Well, but anyway, you're about to find out why I call this movie Requiem instead of Requiem. But anyways, that being said, let's get on with this plot. No one can escape from the aggressive predatory xenomorphs, and shortly after the Antarctic bloodshed in Alien vs. Predator in 2004, a crippled Predator ship crash lands on the dense forest of Gunnison, Colorado. As a result, a vicious Pred-Alien hybrid, along with the numerous Stage 1 xenomorphs, or facehuggers, scatter in all directions, infecting everyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Once more, the Earth is a battlefield, as both extraterrestrial species are fighting for supremacy, and the humans become stuck in the middle. Now, the fate of the entire city rests in the hands of Sheriff Eddie Morales and a handful of residents. Can they ensure the fate of humankind? Yeah. Now, y'all remember when the first AVP released in 2004, it was badly received by both Alien Predator fans for having a PG-13 rating instead of an R like both franchises are known for. However, the movie proved to be a box office hit, making over $177 million worldwide on a $60 million budget, thus guaranteeing a sequel is going to be made and released in 2007. There was an even bigger catch, though. This movie was not going to be directed by Paul W.S. Anderson or rated PG-13 at all, and was actually going to be rated R this time around, and be very gory and violent. So fans were still hyped for this movie despite not liking the first one at all. And our new directors were two unheard of directors called the Brothers Strauss to make the project. And they were only known for making music videos. And that's it. After some issues and troubles, the movie was released on Christmas Day 2007 and wrapped up the year 2007 for films. And was it better or worse than the first one? Well, when it comes to this, it was worse. Not better. No. This movie proved to suck more. These two hacks, the Brothers Strauss, had no idea what fans clearly wanted to be better for the sequel. They clearly didn't hear the idea of, we don't just want gore, we want something like Alien and Aliens had, and that's good scares, a good story, and Story you can invest in characters for. Just like Alien and Aliens and the first Predator movie had. No, they just thought gore was a better approach and shock factor. But gore and shock factor aren't the only bad things of this movie. But that being said, let's get on with the bad qualities. For starters, this movie, like Chris Stuckman prefers to nickname in his rant for the film, which he did back in 2017, should be called Shadows versus Silhouettes. Because that is, well, you can barely see for most of the movie, which takes place at night. Even the scenes that take place during the day are only slightly visible. It doesn't even help that there's a behind-the-scenes video of the film cinematographer complaining about not having the equipment to light the sets properly, suggesting that there were clearly budget problems. So yeah, this film, for starters, easily has the worst lighting I have ever seen in my life. And we still have... Remember how the human characters in Alien vs. Predator annoyed you? Well, the human characters in this are also just as irritating, if not more. Because the human characters in this movie are so forgettable, unlikable, and underdeveloped one-dimensional cardboard cutouts. In fact, some of them are pretty much slasher movie cliches, and the mother and the daughter rip-offs of Ripley and Newt from Aliens. This is made worse by the abysmal acting, especially stealing similar ideas from the Marvel Spider-Man comics, like Ricky Howard is a rip-off of Peter Parker, who's a pizza deliverer. Dale Collins is a lazy rip-off of Flash Thompson, who steals Ricky's car keys and throws them into the sewer just for spinning her girlfriend. And his crush, Jesse Salinger, is a rip-off of Mary Jane Watson. Yeah. There's even 3 groups of characters, and it feels like an overload, and taking one of the... If you maybe took one of the teen groups out of the shitfest, but probably the teen group, it would have been better. The film even barely has a single thing to do with the first AVP movie, and the closest it gets to a link is Scar's corpse and the Pred Alien. That's the only connections you have with this sequel. At several points in the movie, the Pred Alien does some really disturbing things I really do not want to see at all. Like, for example, this whole scene alone. Thankfully that was just implied, but still, really had to go that far? In gore? But oh no, that's not all. This whole sequence in the hospital gets so much worse. Yeah, that death scene alone breaks the lore that is already established by the Alien movies regarding the aliens' life cycle. Yeah, I mean, fine, sure. I get the aliens have been implied to have killed children off screen in the other Alien movies, but God, you don't need to show it to us on screen, you know. God. Seriously, it just feels like it was written by a sociopath on the dark web. But anyway, just back to the rant. There are action scenes that are even disappointing or hard to see. In the beginning of this movie even ripped off the opening scene from the already abysmal Alien 3, specifically with the Predators being killed, and once again, the Predators are treated like absolute wimps. Before any action begins, while there are in most of the first one, in this movie, only one Predator's in this movie, and most of all the Predators are just straight up killed off on screen. before they can even begin any action with the Pred alien. Yeah, the brothers Strauss also had no directing experience, and this film acts like an advertisement for them to make more movies, like Skyline, which also sucked. Even a misleading title too. Despite the name, Aliens vs. Predator, the Predator doesn't actually even fight most of the aliens, and the word Requiem in the title was a definition for Christianity, in which the film doesn't relate. The movie was even originally going to be called Aliens vs. Predator Survival of the Fittest, but that was later dropped. And some lines of the movie are just reused lines from other Alien Predator films that are really hampered. Like, they have the get to the chopper line, and how they deliver it is so stupid. Yeah, like, get to the chopper line in Predator was badass, amazing, and just epic. Here, it's just like every crap action movie that has cliched characters and cliched moments. What's more, the ending is even so cheap, too. Basically, how the movie ends is that the government just straight up nukes the whole town to kill the xenomorphs, including the Predator Wolf and the Pred Alien. So we never get to see a longer fight between them because the fight they have is short and abruptly ends with them locked in a death grip before being incinerated by a nuke. So much for a big badass fight between Wolf and the Pred Alien. What we could have saw. What's more is that now, because of that, and because of the nuke, so many innocent civilians, children and adults, who probably weren't even infected by the xenomorphs, are all dead. But it doesn't matter because at least the main characters we don't care about made it out alive. And another scene, in the ending, the very final scene, is nothing more but sequel baiting. Because how, like, the movie ends is just... It's just an origin story of the whole Yutani Corporation. And... which is just pointless since there was never a third Alien vs. Predator movie because this film killed the Alien vs. Predator film series. Thank God, too, because this movie sucks ass. While there are honestly zero redeeming qualities with this film, there are, I guess, some things I can bear watching the film. And that is what I'm not going to call the good qualities, but the tolerable moments. Which are, Brian Tyler's score is passable, and the Predator named Wolf in this movie is kind of an awesome character. Why, you may ask? Because, unlike every other Predator movie after the first one, he is not an anti-hero and does not help the human protagonists at all. In fact, they even make him just as bad of a threat to the humans as well, because he's more of a straight-up no witnesses only, and is just there to clean up any mess, make sure nobody witnesses the whole thing at all. And that can include killing a bunch of humans too that try to get involved. So at least this movie did try to get the Predator portrayal right this time, even if it still failed. The Pred Alien and the Xenomorphs are still a pretty decent threat. The Pred Alien is a nice concept, but it was wasted abysmally. Because having the idea of a Predator and an Alien combined into one creature is actually not a bad concept, I gotta say. The designs, costumes, and puppets from the Predator, Xenomorphs, and Pred Alien are very well done, even if you can't really even see them. This movie does still have gore, I will admit. At least they still try to make it R-rated this time around, unlike the last time, but even that still backfired. And you can actually... And if you really want to get a better shot of the new creature, you do have a production photo online. That's our closest thing you could get to being able to see the creature. Because it's actually well lit. And while this killed off the AVP franchise, it didn't really kill off the Alien franchise or the Predator franchise, because 5 years after this movie, Ridley Scott and continued plus saved the Alien franchise with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and 3 years after this film, the Predator franchise recovered the quickest and continued with Predators, which was a good sequel, and the Predator 2018, which was a bad sequel, which all 4 of them ignored the Alien vs. Predator films. Yeah, those are the only tolerable moments I can stomach with this film. But despite that, this is one of the worst horror movies I've watched, one of the worst crossover movie I've watched, and probably the worst Alien and Predator movie combined in both franchises. If I included them anyways. For standalone films, the worst Alien movie is Alien 3, and for standalone Predator films, the worst Predator movie is The Predator 2018. So overall, you may be in for gore unlike last time, but please for the love of God, still do not watch this movie either, and still stick with the PS3 game because that's the closest you'll get to a good Alien and Predator crossover. And because this movie is so dark as shit, none of the gore or any other stuff will be able to be seen clearly because of how badly lit this movie is. And the fact that these 2 directors took glee in showing the Pred alien and play on killing infants makes them clear psychopaths as they just threw it in for no reason. Anyway, here's how I'm going to rank Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. I am going to give AVP Requiem a 0 out of 10. Well, we officially wrapped up the Alien vs. Predator movies, and I've only got 2 more Alien movies to go. And that's the prequels. And those prequels I actually remember being seen in the theaters, and Prometheus was actually my introduction to the franchise, so yeah, it'll be nice talking about those, and it'll be way funner talking about than the last 4 movies I've had to talk about in this franchise, but until then, that'll be it for this rant. Thank y'all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.